Changemakers, and welcome to The Core, sponsored by Red Apple EdCo. This is your Everything Education podcast. We talk about current events, books to read. We interview education leaders, hear their stories, learn from their biggest lessons, and they share what they wish you knew about what it means to be in education today. I'm your host, Dr. Kia Turner. Buckle up for small seeds of inspiration that can lead to big changes in your classroom practice. Let's take a bite out of today's guest. Hi, you guys. It is Dr. Kia, and I am here at EdCampKC, and I ran into one of the founders, right? Did you found EdCampKC, or you just helped put it on today?
I did. Me and a lot of other people, but yes.
Wow.
Yes, we started it. Yes.
This is the one and only Mr. Kyle Pace.
Yes.
And he is pulling together an awesome ed camp today that involves cookies, okay? Little traps of the devil that were here and handmade by his mother, which means they had an extra next level of deliciousness.
Lots of love.
And he left pans of these out for people like me to walk by and not eat.
You can take a whole pan.
Do you see how he does this? Is he really concerned about people and educators that come to these events? I ask you these questions. I told Kyle that I had to grab him, especially after putting together such an amazing event. We even went bird watching today.
Crazy, right?
Okay, never been to an ed camp where we did so much outdoor stuff.
Classroom.
It was amazing. There's an amazing outdoor classroom here. We at Green Valley High School.
Yep.
Right? Didn't you say the outdoor space is like donated or something?
Yeah, so the outdoor classroom that we have is brand new. We just got it this year. And the architecture firm in downtown Kansas City, Hollis & Miller, they do tons of education-related work around the city. And they do a community service project, I guess, every year. And they chose to do that for us this year. So they came in back in the fall and they did it. They created it in like 2 days. They created it, 100 Hollis & Miller employees just came out there and made this happen.
That is bananas.
Yeah,
and
cool.
It was amazing to see. So you'll have to follow our Twitter feeds, okay?
Yeah.
Definitely, if you want to get a look at what that amazing space does. Anyway, I sat Kyle down to ask him my 5 questions. I ask every education professional here on Encountering Educators. So let's get to it. Okay. Still using Screencastify. Shout out to you guys for allowing me to do amazing stuff.
Yep.
Number 1, why do you teach then? Or in your case, rather, why do you continue in the education space? What motivates you to kind of even put events like this together where teachers can learn from one another?
Yeah. So I think in all the years that I did professional development for teachers, I did very much the formal style of professional development. They were all used to. We're all used to.
Yes.
We're all used to.
Where we're sitting all day and trying to look engaged.
That's what I did. I did technology-related PD for teachers in a very formal way. But teachers were always wanting more. They were always saying, we just want time. We just need time. And I quickly found out, too, that when doing technology-related PD, I could stand up in front of a group and tell you all day long how great something is. But teachers want to hear from other teachers. And I was an elementary teacher way back in the day, but I'm not in the classroom anymore. I just support teachers in using technology. And so May 2010 was the very first ed camp in the country.
Wow.
Yeah. So
a little history for us.
Yeah.
I bet y'all didn't know that.
Yeah,
either.
A group of really awesome teachers in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Did the first ed camp in May 2010.
But I think you were going to say Kansas City. I was like, because
no.
Okay,
no.
Go ahead.
And then we did our very first ed camp was in November 2010. So I'm very proud of that. We were the first ed camp in the Midwest.
Yeah.
They started on the East Coast. And then, of course, it has just exploded from there.
Absolutely.
So I love creating these kinds of events where teachers can come together and just talk and just have conversation. And it's super informal. It's not all rigid. And
why does that excite you, though? Why does that, as opposed to even a well put together PD session? Why does this format have its appeal?
I think watching teachers get excited and fired up just fuels me.
Me too.
Just totally
energizes
me. That makes me want to keep on doing it and keep on doing things like this. And it's addicting. And I still love leading PD. I don't do as much of it. I did some presenting, at a conference back in January, and I hadn't done it in a while, but it was completely exhausting, but completely energizing and exciting at the same time.
Yes.
Just being with teachers in the moment like that is just really fun. So it just yeah, it drives me to keep going. And I'm all about helping teachers be empowered to try new things, to do exciting things with technology. And if I can help create the environment where they can empower each other, all the better. So
that's amazing. Number 2 then.
Okay.
And that's a really good number 1. That might be the top 10 number 1 we've had on the blog. Number 2, what is one thing you're doing in your practice right now that excites you? Sort of a new wave that you see coming and you're like, yes, I've been waiting for this. Bring it on.
Man. We're always putting more devices in kids' hands. Our high school's in here and it's in their second year of being one-to-one. The big thing we're doing next year is bringing our middle schools on with one-to-one. So we're adding in Chromebooks for all of 6th through. So we'll have one-to-one, 6th through 12th grade next year in this district. And that excites me. And I think that is exciting, of course. But then I think what just gets me more excited is the possibilities that gives those kids, especially the possibilities to do creative things with technology.
Yes.
It's time to move from, and consumption with technology is important. Don't get me wrong. We all do it. Mm-hmm. And kids need to know how to do that well.
Yeah.
When you think about digital literacy and things, but I'm really, really anxious to see how it moves kids to create with the technology.
Yes.
That they're gonna have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not consumers, creators.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I talk to teachers all the time and really just teachers. And I'm so glad that you're outside of the classroom thinking about these kinds of things because teachers have noticed, I don't know what I'm going to prepare kids for in the future. I have no idea what that's going to look like. I want them to create things and to be able to have like viable futures for themselves.
Right.
And I think teaching them to be that early is really critical. And that's what I hear you saying.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
So then that brings us to 3 then. Okay. Number 3, what's one resource you think every educator should know about?
Ooh.
Okay, just one on the awesome list. And I'm going to put it, well, if you do more than one, I'll put it as a list underneath this video on the blog. So then it'll be like, okay, here's a couple things you can go check out.
Just like a web tool. Just be like,
it can be that. It can be a book. It can be. So maybe think about the range. If I'm a teacher and I have no experience using technology, and then if I'm a teacher and I have lots of experience but don't know what to do next.
So I just went to a workshop yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Look at my time. And do you see that?
I know, right? So have you ever heard of Catlin Tucker?
No.
Okay. So
do tell.
Her name's Catlin Tucker. She's a teacher out of California.
Okay.
I've known her for a long time. She's an amazing teacher. She just co-authored a new book called Blended Learning in Action.
Ooh.
And she did a workshop.
I need to get to know her.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She did a workshop yesterday over in Shawnee Mission and just talking about what blended learning is and what blended learning looks like. And one of the things I was telling someone else that I really loved when she talked about it, which when you think blended learning, when you think flipped classroom, it's a very you think technology because we're recording, making videos like this,
we are.
Screencasts, podcasts, creating, we're combining we're creating a face-to-face mixed with digital learning environment for our kids. But everything she talked about, while she did talk about some specific tools that she uses, she really anchored it all in just super sound pedagogy, which was great.
Yes.
It was about the learning and not the technology, 110%. Now, that said, she talked about things that she uses to create screencasts, just like Screencastify that we're using right now. I mean, she talks about things like that. She talked about how she uses some different Google tools to get, in her classroom to create kind of some of those digital workflows. So that's something that I think that you definitely should check out. I think your viewers, would enjoy checking that out. But
don't worry, I already made a list to be like, I'm going to give you guys a list of the Google Tools link and a list of this book, Blended Learning in Action.
Yeah.
Catlin Tucker, Catly.
She had a couple co-authors with her, but Catlin.
Catlin
Tucker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then number 4, what was your last aha moment as a professional?
Oh, man.
Right? Everyone always does that on this question. I'm always like, whoa.
Last aha moment.
Where you said, wow, would you think of that?
Man, I know I've got something. I'm just trying to go back and I don't know if I call it an aha moment, but it's something that it never ceases to amaze me.
Ooh, what is it?
So maybe it's an
ongoing aha.
It's an ongoing aha. And I got to watch a couple classes do it. And it wasn't new, but it started with the whole mystery Skype thing is kind of what started this for me, is where kids are using technology to connect with another classroom of kids somewhere in the world. And typically, when it's like a mystery Skype kind of thing, the classes are trying to figure out, they're using their digital literacy skills, they're using their map skills, their searching skills to figure out where each other are in the world. those kinds of opportunities, when we give kids those kinds of opportunities, it never ceases to amaze me. It just blows me away. Like, we can do this with technology. Like, we have the capacity to do this with technology. And I don't know that we're doing it enough. I don't know that we're taking advantage of it enough. Even if you're not doing the mystery Skype thing, I watched an elementary art class last week connect via Skype with another elementary art class. And it wasn't the mystery Skype thing. It was one of our instructional technology coaches. She was facilitating this whole thing. But it was just kids were just connecting with other kids in another state to show off their artwork and to talk about their artwork. And share the things that they were creating in art class. Yeah. And so I don't know that it was an aha moment, but it's just one of those moments that warms you up, you know, when you just watch what's possible with technology. So our ability to literally connect to and learn from anyone in the world, no matter where they are. That always blows me away.
I love that. That is a continual aha. And that was well put, actually. Yeah. So then 5, to take us home, in a few words, what do you think every educator should know? Like, what message would you put out there based on all that you've seen now? One thing you want them to know. Or something that you'd say to people who are outside of education. One thing you'd want them to know about the field and the work.
Well, when I think of it that way, I think we need to see schools partnering more with those people and those places outside of education. You know what I mean?
So there's a place for you in education, even if you're not an educator. That's
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Just coming in and working with schools and connecting with schools and working with kids, you know, those community connections that I think we're all doing that to some degree. I think that's nothing really new, but I think we need more of it especially when we think about, just like we think about preparing kids for jobs that probably don't even exist yet. We don't know what we're preparing them for, but we need to be having crucial conversations about the kinds of things that we do know they're going to be asked to do. It makes me think of, too, it just makes me think of like an interview I read recently it's not real recent, but an interview I read. I don't remember.
That's okay.
It was like the head of HR from Google.
Okay.
And it was talking about preparing kids for the future.
I'm tagging that article under here, too, you guys.
It was talking about too, just like what kind of candidate does a company like Google look for? And he went on to say, he's like, I don't care as much about where you went to school, maybe even if you went to school. But if you went to school, I'm not going to be as worried about what kind of degree you have. Yeah, certain degrees lend themselves to certain careers better. But again, it goes back to those 4 C's. You know, are you a good critical thinker? Are you a collaborative person? Are you a creative person? Do you communicate well? Those soft skills, I think, more is what, and those are all things that technology allows us to help develop in our kids. So I think
I can see why you're passionate about
it. So I think a lot about that. You know, when I think of also when I'm working with teachers that are trying to do new things with technology, back to something every educator should know, don't reinvent the wheel.
Amen.
Don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, we have these tremendously brilliant people, just like you and I were connected on Twitter before we ever met face-to-face.
Yes, we did.
We can create these brilliant, thriving networks that we can tap into and get ideas from and get resources from. And you got to tap into it, whether it's Twitter or Facebook
or LinkedIn. A lot of people are doing LinkedIn.
Yeah. Tons of options. You find the one that works for you and go with it.
I love that. So if someone watching us wants to hear more from you, find out more about what you have going on, where do they find you? Where can we find you online?
So on Twitter, I'm just at Kyle Pace.
Okay.
On Twitter. Kept it super simple.
Yeah. Kyle.
Kyle Pace.
No funny characters, underscores, nothing?
All one word.
Love it. Okay.
And then my blog, really hard also.
I'll link that under here too.
KylePace.com. Really hard. I try to blog on there from occasion, just get some ramblings out of my head.
It's a good practice. It's a good practice and sort of cathartic.
Yes.
There you go. It's like you don't really blog for other people.
Right.
You really blog for yourself. Like, I just needed to get this out and now I'm good.
Yep.
Maybe you guys will like it, maybe you won't.
Right.
Well, it has been amazing having you sit down with us.
Thank you for having me. Yes.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. I'm honored.
All right. We'll talk to you next time. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Take care.
That's all we have for today. Thank you for listening to The Core. Wherever you are listening to us, be sure to like our show, subscribe, and share the episode that's meant the most to you. We appreciate every single one of our subscribers, as do our sponsors. We look forward to seeing you next week. You can also check us out on YouTube at Red Apple EdCo if you'd like to see more video of these conversations. We have them posted there.